All right. You want to dugong your ass to the observatory? Fucking David. All right.
Did you walk here?
No, I went to the court center, not realizing that it wasn't the fucking observatory.
Okay, nice.
I'm kind of an idiot, okay? But
That's right.
we know this.
True.
Anyway. Hey, Ben David, what's going on?
Yeah, I've been good. How's life treating you?
Well, yeah, I guess it's treated me about as good as it can, right?
Okay.
Did you ever speak to the Russians?
They haven't been around when I have.
I got you.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything on my end from that either, but
Oh, that's good.
actually here to talk to you about something that I wasn't gonna speak with you about ever, but I decided to, I guess, open up about it a little bit, if you have a couple
All
minutes.
right. Sure.
Do you know my past? Do you know where I came from, what I did, all that jazz?
No.
Okay. The long story short is, when I lived in Florida, I unfortunately my mom was killed, and my dad was presumed dead. He was a deep sea fisher. He never came back on time. They don't know what happened to the boat. I moved on from that though. Moving past that though, you know, I came to Los Santos in hopes to start fresh, start new, be a better person. Maybe change my ways a little bit. Try and do myself proud because I couldn't go back at home, you know?
Mm-hmm.
A lot happened. A lot of twists, a lot of turns. You know, I guess very early on I was kind of taken in by the Rhodes family. Looked up to Dark, Matt. My family, I guess you could say. I was, you know, unofficially, officially adopted. Things were good. Tow truck driver. Eventually got hired at BBC to be a tow truck driver. And then I got hired as a manager. I helped run the company. Help pay people, help pay the books. You know. Really did what I could in order to get my foot in the door, and Sab helped me out with that a lot, and I will forever miss Sab. Haven't heard from him in a while, but I do hope he's okay. Anyway, prior to getting hired at BBC, I guess prior to being a manager at BBC, it was after one of the comedy nights at the comedy club. Are you familiar with the name Thomas Dwayne?
You're asking me if I know who Thomas is?
Do you really know Thomas?
The cult leader, I don't know, exploiter of vulnerabilities. I should think I know him.
Early on, I spoke to Thomas. He pulled me aside. We were talking about some stuff. He was with a gentleman named Carl Grimes at the time. I don't know if you know who Carl is.
No.
Him and Thomas were good friends. I haven't seen Carl in a while. I haven't, seen Thomas in a while, but Thomas would help me out with stuff. He was obviously not a clean slate person. Told me he was a hypnotherapist. He told me about his things that he did, his activities, I guess you could say, but he was very vague about it. He was good with his wording. He was good with the way he expressed detail and the way that he touched up on things. Anyway, Thomas asked me for a favor. He was investigating a terrorist organization of some sort. I was very under the radar, very cryptic, very questionable. And he said that he could not meet with my dad, Richard, and he had asked me for a favor. He said that, obviously Dark trusts you. Unfortunately, if I met with Dark in person, he would throw me in jail. Because I'm, the way he put it, essentially, the TLDR on that is chaotic good. And he had pretty much asked me if I could meet him at a location, somewhere kind of open, somewhere public, somewhere nice to, meet with Dark. He'll sit from afar and he'll radio to me information and details about this organization. So I agreed. Ensured my safety. Ensured Dark would be okay. He was watching me from afar. I don't know exactly where, but I know that he was watching me from afar. And I called Dark and he met me up over at the Mirror Park lake. Where those benches are and the little, bridge and stuff out into the middle area,
Mm-hmm.
We were sitting at those benches before the bridge. Moving forward a little bit, Dark met up. We sat, we talked for a little bit. I said, Dad, I need to give you some details. I need to tell you something. I have somebody on a radio right now. Are you aware of the name Thomas Dwayne? And he goes, yeah. I said, okay. I said, I need to anonymously give you these details. Pretty much the gist of it was that Thomas said that, tell him the organization is about to strike. Tell him this, tell him that. I then received a text from Thomas saying, run. And about 15 seconds later, a black van pulled up and two people got out. Both masked up. Told Dark to get into the back of the van. Told me if I made a move at all, they would shoot me. And Dark got kidnapped. Next thing I heard, he was tortured and abused, and he was in the ICU for a little over a month and a half. Closing in on 2 months. I kind of lost the one person who would reach out to me, the one person who would check in on me. Matt, Matt's all right. Matt's good. Matt cares about me. I know he cares about me, but he never really takes the time to check in on me. Type deal. Usually he hears that I'm in danger, something's going on, he jumps into action, so I respect him for that. But Dark would genuinely check in, make sure I'm okay, make sure I'm not doing anything stupid, make sure that I'm following the right track in life, right? And For a while, I guess I was, but you know, Thomas was the last person I spoke to, and I started really talking to Thomas. I mean, I really started talking to Thomas. He brought me in, so-called brought me in, you know, looked after me. In a lot of ways, that Dark did. Cared about me. If someone was messing with me, he would help take care of them. And when I say take care of...
Even after he did what he did, you still went and spoke to him? Or did you at the time not know that it was him?
I still don't know who took Dark.
Isn't it kind of weird that he would text you, he texted you that, and then all of a sudden they roll up?
I guess you could say that. Guess I never really thought about it that way.
Because I'm trying to understand, you know, how he would know that if he wasn't the one sending them.
Well, it thickens a little bit. He called me a couple days later and told me to meet him top of a hill. About a day later. And there I saw a black van and the two masked individuals on top of the van. Gasoline poured all over it. And somebody in a mask shooting it on the beach. While Thomas and I stood up on a hill and watched it blow up. So, I guess you could say I had my doubts till I saw that. Are you aware of the Illuminati?
Yes. Almost started a war with them.
I was involved. I got brought in. I was involved in some very weird ways. Thomas knew, and I told him that I did not want any involvement in the physical side of things. I'm not looking to go to jail. I'm not looking to do anything to get me in trouble. I said, but if you need help with anything from an outsider, I might be willing to help. And a lot of my job in the Illuminati was to gather information. I spoke with people. I was quiet about a lot of these things. I did my best to bite my tongue. You know, I wanted this to be quiet. I didn't want anyone to know my affiliation with the Illuminati. And I think everybody in Los Santos knows my association. Part of that is probably my fault for having a loud mouth at times. But I genuinely kept quiet for the most part.
I'm trying to understand. When you saw that van blow up, why did you go back to him? He'd taken your father.
Did he take my father?
Well, it seems kind of coincidental that he texts you to run. People with a black van roll up, take Dark. And then 2 or 3 days later, that same van and Thomas.
He found the van.
Is that what he told you?
At the time, yeah.
You can't be so naive as to believe that.
There was a time when I was that naive. And moving forward to where I am now, I could tell you I've changed a lot. I've learned a lot. I've learned the hard way in a lot of ways. Trial and error, I guess. I didn't really have that upbringing. But I ended up helping Thomas out with everything. Everything I could, everything within my limits. He had a lot of people that were involved. I had a lot of people that trusted me. We had anonymous meetings with everybody, but we kept it very on the down low, very quiet. I had connections to suppressors. I had connections to a lot of different really interesting things. It was a very well put together group. Eventually things came up. A lot of other weird people, Smiley being one of them, caught wind of, you know, this Illuminati. People believing that I was some kind of a crazy fucking killer. People believing that I was some crazy fucking person out for blood. Thinking that just because I had this title to my name, I was this bad person. When in reality, that wasn't the truth. The truth was I was just there for information. I gave it, I got it, I passed it along, and it died right there from my knowledge moving forward. And to, you know, say lately, I'd like to think I was pretty good at it. Eventually, the Illuminati died a lot earlier than people realize. It died months ago. Like, dead, died, gone. This wasn't just like a mishap thing. Just we ended up moving on. Thomas had this new thing in mind. And I think it was his original idea with the Illuminati. And I think instead of keeping the Illuminati in such tight ropes because people started hearing about it, he ended up changing the name and ended up changing the reputation surrounding it. And I'm sure you heard about, or at least saw the video of Consequences.
I did.
Yeah, Thomas was involved with that, 100%. Thomas was also the one to kill Chastity Dawes, and I believe I told you that.
Yeah, you took me to the spot.
I was never involved in any of those videos. In fact, I respectfully decline to have any involvement in that side. Though my job, my objective, you could say, my goal, was the same in the Illuminati as it was in Consequences. Find people who do terrible things and essentially just walk up the line and present it to other people and say, listen, this person constantly kidnapping X person at Harmony, or is constantly, you know, shooting up Harmony. Kidnap this person, beat the shit out of them, never paid the price, but we obviously know who it is, but there's not enough evidence to throw them in jail. People like Thomas, people like Gemma would go, they'd find the person, they'd pick them up, and then they would make a video, plaster their name, let people know and remind them who they are. Essentially just giving them this tarnished reputation. Which honestly, looking back at it, was very sick and fucked up. But that's, you know, that's where I was. I wasn't on the sick and fucked up side. I was just on the side of, I guess you could say, justice. Originally, we had a deal to work with Brian Knight.
That's where I got all my information from the Illuminati from.
Brian Knight?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting we're talking then. Small world. Brian ended up snaking out, which, go figure. In terms of not keeping to his word, he wanted planned events, right? He turned around, he said, I want to know when Southside is going to attack this person. I want to know the premeditation, and I want to go to the spot, and I want to see it happen. Easier said than done. But we agreed, and never really got anywhere with it, unfortunately. Things fell through. Brian fucked off, I guess you could say. Anyway, consequences died off. Thomas ended up shooting Deadeye Drew. Dropping my name, dropping Bryce's name, dropping Izzy's name. Who weren't really involved, but were his friends, and Eastside kind of fucked with all of us, so Thomas decided to, quote-unquote, clap back, and only literally started another fucking war.
Oh, great.
So, that moved on, luckily. That wasn't a forever thing. Anyway, since then, I have been very on the down low, very under the radar. Very quiet. My group of friends, the group of people that I hung out with, the group of people that I went to hang out and trust and speak to, all of them involved in the Illuminati, I no longer get to see. I've been very quiet. I have a very small group of friends. I don't know where my footing is here in the city. And I've been struggling for a while to find my footing, you know? One thing to be it's one thing to be a harmony repair mechanic. I want to be a cop, and obviously that's easier said than done. That requires me to stand at a PD all fucking day and twiddle my thumbs, doing nothing except talking on a radio, which I can't sit still to save my life. And reality is, I don't know how far away that goal really is to be a police officer. It's a dream of mine. I'd love to make my parents proud. I'd love to make all of them proud. I'd love to show people that I really am about change. But, reality is that the change I want to make is very drastic. And there's a lot of downtime before that change. And the reason why I tell you my entire backstory and why I'm being open about this is because you made me an offer, David.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I both know what that offer is, right?
I remember.
If my plans of wanting to pursue what I want to pursue end up coming and following through and lining up, you said that I would be willingly allowed to walk away. Correct?
Of course.
I'd like to take up your offer.
Are you 100% sure? You don't have to answer me now, okay? I want you to really think about this, Flop.
Okay.
That offer is always on the table. But I'd have to be very careful with what I involve you in. Because there are some things like my friends are doing now, which are over there in the hills, which aren't too bad.
They're taking
There's
photos
also
of this,
other
right?
things. Yes, they are.
I saw them. You wouldn't be standing
There's
in
also,
front of the observatory unless you wanted to get a photo.
There's also other things which I'm involved in. Which if you ever do walk away, and you knew what I was involved in, like the other side, there may be some issues.
I understand. And I want to make something clear to you. That I understand issues do arise. But I need you to understand something from me to you. I learned where my shortcomings were. Being a part of the Illuminati. I learned that I had a ton of shortcomings, actually. A lot of really disappointing ones, a lot of ones that really just, you know, information I should not have spoken about. And I've learned why that information should not have been spoken about. Even though it was really nothing, to someone else it was a puzzle piece. And I didn't put that piece together. You know what I mean? I've learned to move on from that. And I have about 2 boundaries here of myself to be able to make this possible. We are to not... It's not to not speak, I guess, to each other, but more or less, you know, not meet in a public spot. And to not...
Would you mind if I call somebody down here very quickly?
Go ahead.
It's Jacklyn.
That's fine.
Jacklyn, are you still there? Could you come to the front of the observatory where Flop and I are? Yeah, I need you to come here, though. All right. The reason I called her down here is because if I go tell her alone, she's probably going to stab me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's probably not a good thing. My only catch is that I want this to stay completely anonymous to anybody on the outside. I don't want anyone to know my involvement. And I would like to keep our friendship, our relationship, I guess, quiet as well.
The only other person who will know is Jacklyn.
And that's fine. I just know that none of my friends approve of me talking to you. However, I have no other... I've lost a lot of direction in my life recently, so... Did you get a close-up of my face?
No. It's actually really bad from up there, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's a little too far.
It's fine though.
How you doing, Jacklyn?
I'm fantastic.
Good dumb smile on your face.
I had a meeting with Flop about, I don't know, must have been a month now.
Mm-hmm.
Where I gave Flop an offer.
Okay.
Well, 2 offers actually. One of them would be to upload a picture of his choice. The second option was that if his plans of retribution and whatever failed, that I'd offer him a spot in what we do.
Right.
This stays between us three. But Flop has come today to take me up on that second offer. You know what this entails.
I do.
I brought you down here to I guess play devil's advocate or something along those lines. I think you two need to have a chat. I said that Flop shouldn't give me the answer today, the 100% answer. I need him to really think about this.
Okay.
I'll leave you two alone, if that's all right.
That's fine.
If you need anything, give me a call, okay?
Okay.
All right.
You take care, David.
You too, Flop.
So, what's going through your mind right now, Flop? It's what I want to know first.
I was good at something that got me close with friends that I thought I'd have forever. And just about every single one of them have gone a different direction. And David made me this offer. In the past, I've been very good with being very careful about information and getting information. And I would almost call it a talent in some ways to how nonchalantly I've been able to get stuff out of people. Reality is, Jacklyn, I want to be a cop. The issue is that, like I said to David, and like I've been saying to David, that comes with about 4 months, 3 months worth of standing at a PD, talking through a radio, not doing anything. And that's dedication and time that I do not have.
And I will tell you right now, Flop, and I'm going to be completely honest. This city would eat you up alive.
I don't know about that.
I'm not saying you don't have the guts to do it, but I'm saying that they'll eat you up and they'll spit you out and they'll continue to do so every day.
Well, as soon as you label a cop onto someone's name, their entire reputation and friend group changes. I've seen it happen with many people, including Tessa.
I have as well. I definitely have.
So what's going through my mind is that I lost my sense of direction. I've lost my sense of passion. I've lost my sense of, I guess you could even say, friends. Not in a bad way. You know, you look at people like Bryce. Bryce has a lot going on that he focuses on. And I respect that about him. And I think that he is doing his part to do his stuff. And I respect him for that. I just, unfortunately, do not have the same reconciled passion. Especially after I put attempted first-degree murder on my record. And I want to at least offer something to the table. And that's an anonymous inn to at least help with the information and to help with certain things without getting myself involved on a criminal level, without putting myself in front of people to know that I'm involved in this sort of stuff. I want to stay completely anonymous to literally everybody. Except for, I guess, you and David. I won't even tell my closest friends. I won't even tell... I wouldn't even tell my dads. I wouldn't even jokingly say it to my dog. Like, I'm legitimately here looking to be a hand in something that I've been interested in. And obviously David knows that I've been well more interested in the idea of the web than what probably meets the eye. I have a VPN. There's no surprise.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do think taking a step in the direction of interest and the direction of drive, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
interests me.
Flop, I want you to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Put out your cigarette and close your eyes.
I like this cigarette.
Put out the cigarette. Close your eyes.
Okay.
When you have a knife to your back and someone finds out what you're part of, are you going to risk it all your whole life to protect us? Or are you going to save yourself? That goes for me and David and whoever else.
I take this to the grave. The same way I took the Illuminati to the grave until just now. Because that died long ago.
Okay.
I'll put it to you like this.
I had situations like that, Flop.
To put it lightly,
Scary.
I had Lauren Forster for months pulling me aside saying, Flop, I'm saying this as your friend, not as an officer. Or I guess in her case, a deputy. She said, I know what you're involved in. I know what you do. She said, you're not involved with good people. You're involved with bad people. You're putting yourself in a very bad situation, very dark hole. And it's sad to see. She tried to help me. Quote unquote. And I shrugged it and I moved on. I did not give her what she was looking for. And I practically humiliated myself in front of, I guess, the quote unquote good in this city to protect those who I was involved with.
I will tell you, Flop. You got yourself tangled in with a very interesting person who, in my opinion, heavily manipulated you. Both emotionally and mentally. He also manipulated a lot of other people in the city as well. Me and David, we obviously aren't like that. Yes, we have a darkness a part of us, especially me mostly. But I'm not about to manipulate you, Flop. I'm not about to twist your arm. I'm not about to, I won't. If David gave me an order to kill you, I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I told you before, and as I told David before, I see so much of myself inside of you, it's not even funny. You are a lost soul in the city of the damned. Much as Jacklyn was when she first came to this city. And she got manipulated, she got lied to. She has gotten killed a couple times because of a person she followed that she so-called loved. And it scares me, Flop. And I want to help you and I want to protect you. Just as much as I protect Jacklyn now. I don't want to... I want to take over, I guess, what you might have saw as Thomas as another father figure, I guess. Not much of a motherly figure, because fuck that, I'm too young for that, but more like a sister. And no matter what path you choose, if you decide to join us, you obviously know the risks. You know what you have to take, and you know what's going to happen if someone does find out and they want to drill you for answers. And if you do decide to join PD, I'll still be there to support you. I'll still be there to help you and guide you in any way that I can. But as David has told you, you're about to get into something that is very, probably dark, very heavy. And there's things that we do that you might not agree with, but we do it for reasons. To not only protect some people in the city, but also to kind of protect our own asses. And I want you to look me in the eyes right now, Flop. Because this is probably the first time you've probably seen me without my sunglasses or my mask. This is me opening up. Because if David can trust you, then I can as well. And I want you to promise me that whatever comes your way, whatever decision you choose, that you won't change who you are.
I think I've changed for the worse, but I also changed for the best because it's made me who I am today. The Illuminati was a very dangerous thing I was involved in, but I knew Thomas wouldn't hurt me. I gave him an opportunity to hurt me. I laid it all out in front of him one day and I screamed at him. And I gave him the opportunity to pull a gun and pull the fucking trigger. And all he could do was raise his voice because I knew I was in control.
Mm-hmm.
He cared about me that much. And the least I could do is do better moving forward.
And I know you can. Whether it be with us or with whoever else. The choice is always up to you, Flop. It's always up to you. honestly, it would be it'd be kind of cool to at least have someone else around that I could actually like talk to besides David, because he's too busy macking all over Flora. But that's besides the point.
Fair enough. Well, the thing that I explained to David is the same thing I'm going to explain to you. If I do end up saying yes to this, I am to not meet with either of you at Quick Fix. I am not to meet with either of you in a public area where people will most likely be, like here.
Mm-hmm.
I want this to stay as under the radar as possible. I don't even want my friends to know who I'm talking to. I want to be as anonymous as possible, which is exactly what my goal was in the Illuminati, and unfortunately I learned my shortcomings. What I thought wasn't information that was valuable to someone else to help piece together where I was in the Illuminati. And you know what? It's fine. It happened, and I know now what not to say. I learned the hard way. I have this title on me forever, and it's not going away anytime soon. What I can do, though, is do better moving forward until people do forget.
Which you know how the city works, they eventually will.
Mm-hmm. Except for Claire. Every time I speak to Claire, she goes, "I know everything about you." I'm like, that's nice.
Like Claire Seducer?
Yeah. Every time she sees me, she goes, "Hey, Flop, I know everything about you. You really like triangles."
I mean, she keeps a journal.
Does she?
I'm pretty sure she does. I mean, like, because if I remember Claire Seducer, she kind of forgets everything. Like, have you ever seen like 50 First Dates or whatever with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore?
Yeah.
Where like when she falls asleep, she forgets everything. It's kind of like the same situation with Claire.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I mean, but again, Flop, I'm always here for you. No matter what direction, no matter what choice you choose. If you think joining us is the right path, then by all means take it. Me and David would be happy to take you under our wing.
Host Chris? That toxic fuck? You want me to host that little shit?
Well, me more so.
You understand what the Illuminati did and what consequences did, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was not involved in any of the stuff that was known to be public on harming any of the people that were harmed. And my job was to primarily gather information. So from me to you, I will tell you right now, I appreciate it. I'm going to be giving this heavy thought. I understand you guys are going to do things that I won't agree with. Same way I didn't agree with a lot of the things that happened in the Illuminati. But I knew that that was just what kind of came with the offer after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, Thomas did bring me to a breaking point, which is why I stabbed August and why I went to prison.
And me and David would never do that.
And I appreciate that. I'm good with photos. I'm good with being quiet. I'm good with a lot of things. I'm good with talking to people. I'm good with being nonchalant. People see me, people hear me, and they go, "Oh, it's just Flop." And that's probably the best reputation to ever have when involved in something, is to have people not realize that I'm me, I guess you could say.
And that's the best thing about you, is that you're you. Just be happy that you haven't been burned.
I've definitely been tortured, but not burned.
Well, I don't mean burned in that sense. I mean burned in another sense.
I've had my fingers chopped off by the Chicken Man cult.
Yeah, I heard. I kind of heard about that.
You like my missing finger?
It's great.
Yeah. You can count to 9 on me.
I can carve you another finger if you'd like.
Yeah, we'll just put a wooden prosthetic on. This way, if anyone messes with me, I'll just slap them with it.
Exactly.
It won't bend back or anything. It'll just stay, you know?
Well, it'd be like kind of like one of them. It would have like adjustable joints, so it'd be like, but you're able to like lock the joints. It'd be pretty interesting. I'll rig something up.
I wish it
figure
was.
something out.
I wish it was my middle finger. This way, I could get a wooden middle finger and just tell everyone that sorry, it's a medical condition.
Oh my god.
But anyway, yeah, that's mainly why I came here to speak to David. I pretty much just told him my entire life story, but I told him for a reason. I told him that a lot of my drive here in Los Santos has been very lackluster recently since all my friends have moved on to bigger, better things and have kind of fleshed out and forked out into separate directions, which is fine. Some people went left, some people went right, and I'm still down the middle, I guess you could say, and I'm kind of trying to find my direction. I came from something that I know I'm good at, something that I know I'm careful with, and I want to, I guess, offer help if help is needed. But like I said, I don't want to get involved in anything that will put me in jail, per se.
Nothing that you do would ever land you in that position, Flop, and I promise you that. I have been doing this for a very long time. Since, I kind of want to say January when I was first approached, and when I was first put on the quest. And
What a holy grail!
For a short time, I gathered information about Harmony. People that would come and go, their license plates, their phone numbers, their names. Obviously, I wouldn't give the information of the workers, because that's not what they wanted. They just wanted, the actual information, like the phone book information, I guess.
Holy shit. That's a lot of sirens.
Yeah, some's probably just did the jewelry store.
Probably.
So yeah, I mean that's what I did for a while, and then after a bit, it kind of dipped down, and then I got into contact with David. Oh, someone's doing a track. And then obviously that kind of went down in history. I mean, I'm fucking look mean David now. I pretty much helped him get a job at fucking Quick Fix.
Well, we could say it's set in stone then for now until, you know.
Yes, think about it. Think about it and let David know. Or let me know. Or whatever you choose.
Okay.
No matter what, Flop, I'll always be there for you. In
And
some sort of way or another.
I appreciate that. And I will keep that in mind.
You fucking better, mister.
Yeah.
Or I'll be really upset.
I'm sorry, okay? Jeez. Listen, I'm doing the best I can, okay?
That's all we can do, Flop.
That's all I
That's all
try
we
to
can
do.
do.
Anyway, let me smoke this cigarette that I probably smoked out to the fucking foam, and let's go for a walk. I'll think about it, and you know, I understand that there's always risk involved, and I expect there to be some questionable times, but nothing that I didn't come from. You know what I mean? Might take me a little bit to get used to it, but at this point, I think it really comes down to I've given it thought. now I'd like to, I guess, make it sort of a reality, you know?
Honestly, Flop, I think you would be a perfect fit. But, I mean, again, it's all up to you.
You're right. And I will, like I said, give it as much thought as possible. But, anyway, we'll most likely be speaking soon.
I'm sure we will, Flap. You just let us know.
Absolutely. And you do me a favor and stay safe. All right?
I always am, Flap. By the way, no pissing off Russians.
I will do my best.
Don't piss off the Russians.
Piss on?